Greetings, adventurers. Welcome to Miniature Legends, a place where even the smallest of figures can be legendary. I am Zaxitar, artisan wizard, and I am on a constant quest to improve my mini-painting magic. Today, I wanted to share with you an exercise that can challenge you to grow and improve as a painter. Limited palette painting. Why limit yourself, you may ask? After all, if you have access to whatever color you would like in a bottle, why restrict your options? Well, there are a few reasons. First off, restricting your palette reduces indecision. You already know the paints you have available, and if you want another shade or value, it's simply a matter of mixing up what you're thinking of. Second, this exercise is about noticing differences between tones and values, creating consistency in your piece, learning how you can shift colors to create gradients more naturally than moving between several distinct paint colors. Third, limited palettes can help one gain understanding of color theory, telling a story, or invoking an emotion in the viewer. They are very useful when working on informing the viewer about the world that the miniature might be inhabiting. Is it cold, dark, warm, bright? So, what's the challenge? Well, today I figured I would get some experience with my Kimera Kolors paints. I'm going to restrict myself to red, phthalo green, and yellow oxide as my three colors, as well as black, white, and some satin medium to help with mixing and glazing. I chose Kimera Kolors specifically because they are single pigment paints, which helps quite a bit with reliable mixing. So, I got to work prepping my model. This mini didn't quite print correctly, so I kit bashed a cybernetic eye using a piece of insulated wire and a drop of green stuff epoxy putty to cover up those few imperfections. I suspect you're wondering, why the Grot and Squig? Well, funny story. I printed this miniature by accident. You see, I was doing a bit of 3D printed alchemy for a friend, planning on putting a kill team together, and through a misunderstanding, I put this model on the build plate and sliced it, not realizing that the friend did not in fact need it. They let me know before printing, but I did not remember to remove it. As a result, it's been sitting in my miscellaneous models box for about a year, and I figured, why not use it here? In botany, one calls a plant that grows on its own a volunteer crop. So I guess this is a volunteer miniature? Anyway, I got the miniature primed in black and applied a zenithal highlight of white with my airbrush. Before I get to painting, I figured that I would quickly go over how to decide upon a limited palette. Of course, you can always just pick out a few paints and say, I'm only going to paint with these, but I find it's more interesting and useful to learn to create a gamut mask. For those who don't know, gamut masks are a fantastic technique outlined by James Gourney in his tome Light and Color. You create one by imposing a shape across the color wheel and only painting with the colors within said shape. This technique helps with establishing composition and understanding more clearly what types of colors you are choosing to add or subtract from the whole. In this project, I decided to draw inspiration from the late, great John Blanche and choose a palette based on his work, The Green Tide, from Warhammer 40,000. Establishing my gamut mask here, I can clearly see what primary and secondary colors I should have available going forward with this project. I put the miniature on a painting handle and started getting my 5 paints and medium onto my wet palette. I wanted to get an impression of how my secondary colors would look on the palette, so I mixed them up. Then I got started establishing my base colors, working to apply dark shades so I can work up to highlights later. I find that Kimera Kolors are a bit more temperamental than most other acrylics. Each one varies a bit in opacity and viscosity, so I spent a good amount of time playing with different shades and values as I worked to build layers on the exposed skin. I find that mixing colors in this way is quite enjoyable, giving yourself the freedom to revise a shade mid-layer, or shift values as you see them applied. If you're looking to get some practice with non-metallic metal, a limited palette can force you to be creative with anything metallic on the piece. In this case, I'm restricted to shades of gray, so I'm working on base coating in a very dark gray color. I underpainted the eye in white, and then applied a thin, bright green for a more vibrant, artificial glow. If you've made it this far, and are enjoying the mini painting magic, please remember to leave a like, a message, or consider subscribing. Or even consider sharing it with a friend. The YouTube imp likes these things, and that helps make more videos possible. Thanks, adventurers! I began by working on a freehand checkerboard pattern. It's extremely eye-catching, and in my mind, is one of the most standout elements of old-school Warhammer orc art. When freehanding, I find it easiest to begin with simple sketches, then work to fill in my lines. If the freehand is a bit wonky, well, this chaotic little guy drew it, so it shouldn't be too out of place. If you would like to see a dedicated freehand video, please let me know. At this point, I wasn't sure what I wanted on the front of the bomb, so I switched focus to give myself time to think, working on highlights and details. Moving on to the non-metallic metal, I got to work applying layers and edge highlighting. I found myself jumping around from section to section, mixing up a new color, and trying to figure out how it might fit into an existing section, revising or attempting to pick out some new detail. I even decided to add a few freehand cracks into the stonework. I finally decided upon a spiral pattern for the front of the bomb. I felt that the trousers and the ground were too close in color, so I decided to repaint them with a more dark, leathery tone, building up some highlights to give a more worn look. I'm not trying to spend too much time smoothing out the layers on this model. This is practice for me, and I feel comfortable leaving a more messy, sketchy feel to the piece. A few final touches, and I'm happy to call this little guy done. So, what do you think, adventurer? Interested in trying out a limited palette? Planning to take up this challenge for yourself? If you do, please let me know with a comment down below. For now, if you want to see more of my work with miniatures, why not click on the video on the top left? I hope to see you again soon. Farewell, adventurers.